Hello, 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 hello. Hello, how's everyone doing today? "24 Yeet Man, what's going on? Christian, how you doing, man? Yes, new DM theory. Something very, very fun happened this morning in the OCG. How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone's having a good day today. The new toy box engine, some of it, yeah, some of it. It's actually really, really interesting. I'm kind of going into this a little bit blind, but from what I'm seeing, from some of the stuff my brain is doing, in theory, this stuff might push DM in a very new direction, and I'm actually very, very interested in this. Francis, how's it going, man? For the light spellcasters, no, that's the Whitewoods. So the Whitewoods is going to be an entire different stream. I'm actually working with a few people right now on the Whitewood stuff, and it's crazy what that deck can do. I'm just trying to be a little more familiar with it, with that entire engine, before providing an opinion. Shit. Okay, before I continue the stream, just want a few disclaimers. If you hear me grunting, pause. It's because I've been dealing with a very bad back condition. I got hurt. I pulled or tore a few muscles in my back, so it's been tough to sleep and things like that. But it's probably why you guys haven't heard from me in a while. Alistair? Is that Alistair fan GR? Hello, I'm from Greece. I was stressing about what time the live was. Hopefully I didn't miss it. No, you're here. Felipe, how's it going, man? How's it going? Yeah, so like I was saying, I want to get familiar with the Whitewood stuff before commenting, before actually streaming anything on it and providing an opinion. Because even though my subscriber count isn't the highest, I do feel like there are a few people who do take the time to listen to what I say, and I kind of want to not bullshit, if that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Horror Soup, how's it going? It's the man himself. You are the man, my friend. You are the man. Streaming on DM through a back injury. What a giga chat. I try. No, it was actually some football, soccer that screwed me over. But it's okay. We move. The grind doesn't stop. So, without further ado, hello from Germany, new DM stuff. Here we go. Yeah, hopefully this stuff. Some guy in the OCG has cooked with it, and we're gonna start there. There are some interesting things I do want to talk about, because like even before this, Kevin, how's it going? Even before this, it was, what's the word I'm looking for? I was doing some stuff pre-ban list that I was really excited about, and I just never had the time to really express some thoughts. So I kind of want to go into those as well, right? So we're going to figure that out as well. So without further ado, let me see how I can do this. We click live, right? Oh, look at me go. I'm figuring this out. See, I'm not a boomer, mom. I can do it. So this is the list I am talking about. Shadow MCole40, who did report on the list. This list in the OCG, allegedly, there's no documentation on it, but there is a gentleman in the Dark Magician Discord server who has pretty much clarified that typically when an OCG list does make its waves into the TCG, it's either at a massive event or a large locals. So I'm going to assume, if we don't see that this is from a massive event, it's going to be from a large locals, and they more than likely topped. So this is the list that go watch MCole40's video. He's going to do a card for card breakdown. I'm not really going to go into it, because the only cards that I'm really interested in this situation are going to be the toy box cards, which are these OCG, these 3 OCG cards here, along with Toy Soldier and Toy Tank. Now these cards are very, very interesting in DM. The rest of the list, obviously, it's up for debate. I don't like Dark Magical Circle. 2 called buys are obviously illegal, and the maxis are obviously you can't play it in the TCG. yeah, this list is very, very interesting. It's very interesting. The thing that I think carried this list more than anything, and I know this is like with a full grain of salt, there are two things that carried this list, in my opinion. It is skill drain, and it is the light barrier statue. With the way the format shaped up, I genuinely think that the barrier statue locking your opponents out of special summoning, and with how accessible the toy box engine is in this situation, disclaimer, I don't think this is an optimal list. I really don't. First of all, I think with how oppressive, you know, the barrier statue of light is, this list wants to streamline its lines into that as fast as possible, right? So you have the Magician's Souls and things like that, which can start digging through your deck to get into the toy box cards. However, playing this deck at 44 makes zero sense to me. If I'm redoing this list, and we'll get over to how I would build the list in a few minutes, but there's some very interesting interactions in this situation. I don't think I'd play Super Poly, especially right now. I don't think Super Poly is that amazing. And like I was saying, I think this list won because of one reason and one reason only. It was able to have a streamline of matchups that are predominantly not light decks. So when you streamline into a situation where you can summon light barrier statue and locking your opponent out of any sort of special summoning, it's kind of why Fluandereeze is so good. Obviously, Fluandereeze has a lot of layered interactions, and they can play Dimension Shifter. That's why that deck sees a lot of success. But yeah, it's a lot of situations where sometimes for a rogue deck to see, this is, first of all, Dark Magician is below rogue, but it's in order for a deck like this to see success, it needs to have favorable matchups. So I'm assuming this player didn't play any voiceless voice opponents. He probably didn't play too much branded. From what I'm assuming, it was predominantly a fire event. I'm not sure what the ban list is right now in the OCG in regards to fire hits and things like that. Not too familiar. But what I do know is that if fire decks are predominantly the best decks in the format, then a card like Light Barrier Statue does see the most amount of will streamline you into the most amount of success, in my opinion, right? I'm just reading through the chat real quick here. When are the toy cards coming out? I have no idea. I'm assuming it's going to be in that Exodia set. Infinite Destruction or Infinity Destruction, if someone can confirm. That's where I'd put my money on, or the Battles of Legend. The toy cards did come out December of last year in the OCG, so that's kind of where that's about a 8-month gap. Obviously there's a situation where it could be a year, but we obviously don't know. Yeah, Christian Hernandez is pretty much right on the nail there. Yeah. Is there a good way to play Red Eyes Fusion and Red Eyes with DM? Yeah, I think that's a lot of how the deck. Oh, God damn. Konami, don't ban me. I think that Red Eyes Fusion is one of the strongest ways to play DM, because especially in Dragoon Turbo builds. There's a YouTube channel, Loza. He does fantastic Red Eyes Fusion content. Go check him out. He's really, really strong with that particular list. Anyways, so thank you, MCole40. This is the list that, did very well in the OCG, and it actually brings us to YGO Omega. Now, I was actually debating on what's the word I'm looking for? Proxying these cards, because I like fiddling around with real cards. I don't like simulators very much, but this is what we have. So the reason why I think these toy box cards are so fantastic is because of the synergy with Magician Souls. Now, before I go into, can you guys see my screen okay? Yeah. If there's anything wrong with the stream, please confirm. So the beautiful thing I think about these toy box cards is their synergy with Magician Souls, specifically with DM, right? Now, obviously, we can fiddle around with the deck and we'll figure out how the deck works and things like that. But I do want to specify that the Magician Souls in particular work very, very, very well with this engine. I'm just gonna put in the basic bare bones Dark Magician engine, and then we'll just go from there, right? There are a few things I do want to specify. One being the ability to draw 3 fairly consistently with this list. And I'll explain how that's gonna... Sorry, there's so many thoughts going on in my head right now. It's actually kind of hard to keep up with my own brain. Okay. So, is that it? Cool. Cool. So, what... Oh, I don't have Magician Souls. Shake my head. Okay. Just if nobody told you already, I love your videos and how much you try to make your favorite monster and dual monsters to be usable against the good decks, my brother. Oh, dude, I appreciate it. Honestly, that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh fun for me. That's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh fun for me. It's the idea of just playing stream. It's about just playing my favorite deck and making the most out of it. Obviously, you go into things knowing, like, going into tournaments and things, knowing you don't have the best deck in the format, knowing you're far away from having a viable deck in the format, and you just when you win with it, it just feels really, really rewarding. It's just a lot of fun for me. It also I feel it pushes my capabilities as a player a little bit. Obviously, there's like a ceiling that once you reach with the deck, then you kind of stunt yourself as a player. But I think I still have so much to learn as a player. And as long as I'm learning, I want to learn with my favorite deck. Toy Tank might allow us to use DM. Is that DMG and Apprentice Illusion Magician? Yeah. So the reason why I like Toy Box is because there's a line I want to get into later that's going to enable a draw 3. And I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do that. That's why Machi's the GOAT. Dude, you guys are the GOAT. I wouldn't be making content if my videos, you know, if you guys didn't watch my videos. So shout out to you guys. Okay, so the thing I want to specify is why these two cards are so good. We're gonna just load up our deck with hand traps. Ash Blossom, Imperm, just to have some dead cards. And we are gonna load this up. Okay. So the reason why this is so strong is because of enabled deck shuffling. No. Sorry. Hopefully this works. Sweet, it works. Okay. So the reason why this is so strong, gonna gimmick lock someone for me. I appreciate that. So the reason why this is so strong is essentially Toy Box and Magician Souls generate free bodies, free advantage, and free and pretty much free card advantage. And you can add Magia in the deck since you're running Toy Box. Yeah, potentially. There's so much, like, this is just the start of the stream, and I won't be streaming too long today, but there are just a lot of ideas I want to get across. So right away, we'll start off with Toy Box, and we'll activate Toy Box by setting 2 monsters. So we'll set Toy Soldier and Toy Tank, right? So we'll set these 2. And then we will activate our copy of Magician Souls. Magician Souls can send DM, doesn't matter. And we will special summon Dark Magician Souls here. Now what Magician Souls will essentially do is it will tribute or pitch the 2 toy monsters from our field, which generates us 2 cards in hand, right? Now there are 2 triggers. Both toy cards trigger, allowing both of them to special summon themselves. So right away, 2 cards net us 4 cards on field and 5 cards in hand with Toy Soldier's effect to essentially grab another copy of Toy Box from the deck. Now we have all this. We haven't normal summoned. We're not locked into anything. And that alone is just shows you how much this engine gives me a lot of interesting vibes from like the Edge Imp engine, right, with the polys and things like that, and how that engine just prints cards in your hand. And that's kind of the idea I have with this particular engine. Now there is a very interesting another interesting interaction where Toy Soldier, if you don't want to add Toy Box to your hand, Toy Soldier can add any level 4 light monster from the deck and add it to your hand. Now, if you've watched my channel a lot of times, or enough times to know how much I genuinely love this engine, specifically this card here. Blazing Cartisia the Virtuous is a level 4 light. Now, the stuff we can do with this card is genuinely insane, and I'll explain how and why, how we're going to do that now. So before anything, we'll just add Granguignol to the extra deck. And what we will do is our standard combo of Magician's Souls and Magician's Rod. This is one of the many combos you can do. My biggest problem, and I've theorized some lines with some people in the past, and the biggest problem with Blazing Cartisia was Blazing Cartisia, in order to maximize Blazing Cartisia's value, you needed to be fusion locked because of a card like Fusion Deployment, right? Now, what happens when you can play around said lock? A lot of avenues open up, right? So what we'll do is we'll activate Toy Box in this situation. This is like, obviously, a 3-card combo. I'm well aware it's a 3-card combo. I don't want to hear a problem and Cartisia in the same sentence. There is no problem with Cartisia. No longer there's a problem with Cartisia. There's no drawbacks with Cartisia anymore because of this engine, and it's crazy. So we'll set these 2 cards, and what will happen now is essentially, so the problem, like a lot of people see this, it's like, oh, Matchy, 3-card combo. Like, what are you doing, right? So, the thing with the 3-card combo is it's Magician's Rod and Magician's Souls, and those 2 cards are probably the most accessible cards in Dark Magician that the deck has, right? The entire deck revolves around these two cards and what they allow the deck to do. I actually never heard of these toy cards. Are they new? Are they going to help us play better with DM? Potentially play better with DM. I don't know yet. This is like the first time I'm actually this is the first time they've got my attention. They come out in Japan in the OCG in December of last year, December 2023. So what essentially, like, recently a player has done very well with them with Dark Magician in a recent event, and we're just theorizing with the cards and kind of what they enabled us to do. So we're going to normal summon Rod in this situation, and what we will do is we will grab our Soul Servant. Now this is very, very interesting here. We'll activate Magician's Souls. We have used our normal summon in this situation. However, there are some very interesting lines we can do now. We will activate Magician's Souls, pitching our 2 toy cards, right? Now what we can do is we can chain Soul Servant. Soul Servant will stack us our Mahad. We drew the 2 cards, right? Now we have the 2 triggers of the Toy Tank and Toy Soldier to essentially summon both of them. Of course, I missed the timing off Mahad. Oh, damn. You know what? No, I misplayed that. Apologies. We did misplay, but I'll just quickly run it through. Essentially, the timing does work. I just clicked the X button by accident. So we'll grab Souls. We'll grab Soul Servant here. We'll activate Toy Box. Toy Box will essentially set our copies of Toy Soldier and Toy Tank. One thing I don't know if I want to do is I don't know at what ratios I want to play these cards yet. This is just strictly theory, right? So here we'll activate Magician's Souls. Magician's Souls will pitch DM. We'll special summon Magician's Souls. Magician's Souls will pitch the 2 toy cards. We will chain Soul Servant, stacking Mahad. Now we will go the 2 toy cards and then Mahad, summoning Mahad. grabbing the 2 toy cards. And now we can grab our Blazing Cartisia, right? What we can do here is, now you think, okay, that's a nifty combo, not even done yet. Now the question is okay, we have Cartisia in hand, there's no way to summon it. Well, Toy Tank has a very, very interesting ability where you can tribute it to summon any level 6 or lower monster from your hand, which is Blazing Cartisia. Now, Blazing Cartisia can activate her effect, fusing essentially Magician's Rod and Cartisia for Grand Guignol. Grand Guignol opens up a million lines here. But for the purpose of this fun little test hand, we will send Dark Magician Girl. Now, what does this do? It immediately makes Soul Servant a draw 3. So we drew 3 cards. Now, what we have is we have 6 cards in hand. We have 5 bodies on board. All 3 Mahad, DMG, and DM in rotation for the consistent draw 3 off Soul Servant. And we aren't locked into fusions. We aren't locked into synchros, aren't locked into links. If we already had DMG in hand or whatever the case is, Gran can send something else. Gran can send an Apgalone. Gran can send, whatever monster in this situation. And essentially our cards generate like that. And this is how kind of the engine can generate endless advantage, which is something that's very, very interesting. Now, obviously, in this example, we don't have any extra deck monsters. We don't have any links. We don't have any synchros. We have nothing of the sorts. But I thought this was something that I really, really wanted to share. There are also a million other lines that we can do. So, as a collective, let's start to theorycraft, right? So one thing that I know Loza did, and I'm assuming this is what the player in the OCG, which means we can still get into a link to Illusion Mansion. Yeah, exactly. We can still get into that link 2 and set up the pseudo Omni Negate, which is the what's that? The trap monster, correct? Is that what you're talking about, Christian? So I think that new link monster is very, very interesting. So one thing that Loza was doing on stream was essentially he was playing around with Barrier Statue and Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel essentially the new trap monster and Apophis. Yeah, I was thinking about Apophis. Correct me if I'm wrong. Both are very viable options. Absolutely. I'm very interested for that card. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Who searches DM cards anymore when you could just draw like a monster? Exactly, right? And what that opens up avenues for is like if we open Illusion of Chaos, if we open another Soul Servant while we draw, right? For example, we could chain Soul Servant to the Soul Servant activation, grabbing DM back into the hand, which then makes Illusion of Chaos grabbing Timaeus, and then making Dragoon is something that can be very viable in that situation. Pair Dragoon with a, for example, I don't know, SP Little Knight, or that new Illusion Link 2 could be very, very interesting, right? So this is kind of the play Loza was showcasing on his stream. And essentially, this is the line I think the player won most of his games with, or their games with, right? And what you would do is essentially Rod will grab your copy of Soul Servant. Your toy box will activate, grabbing your 2 toy box monsters. Now, there is also another line I do want to go into, and it's going to be with the Hello Matchy, love your videos. Thank you for putting the time into DM to make it relevant. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you so much. Can't thank you enough for watching my content. Without you guys, I'm not making content. I'm probably just playing at locals. We'll activate DM, Soul Servant, Magician Souls here, pitching DM, special summoning Magician Souls. Now what we can do is we can just pitch these 2. We can chain our Soul Servant, stacking our Mahad. And then we can go 1, 2, 3, This will grab us our barrier statue. Now what will happen is essentially we make a Chaos Angel. Mind you, it's a light and dark Chaos Angel, which is ridiculous. We still have a draw 2 off Soul Servant, and then this toy box card will pitch itself, summoning Barrier Statue. And then you essentially lock your opponent out of the special summoning. It's protected by a Chaos Angel, and you have 5 cards in hand to play with. That's initially, this is the combo I think the player won majority of his games with. However, I genuinely think we can push this way more further than just floodgating our opponent. And that's kind of, you know, when I saw this and I initially, you know, started thinking about it. So a 3-card combo without Maxi, pretty much. It's not really a 3-card combo though, because it's like you just need a hard open toy box. And if you open toy box and, you know, Illusion of Chaos and Souls or Secret Village, boom, you know, just ruin their days. It's like the only card you need a hard open is toy box. And obviously that's one card that is very, very essential for this list. There are some things, I'm not sure if I want to build a deck up yet. I don't really like building decks with cards that aren't yet released, but so there's a lot of interesting situation. Yeah, you could rewatch the stream after. I'll have a VOD up. There's a lot of interesting interactions that you know do require some thought, I think. Number one being this deck plays into every hand trap under the sun. It will play under, it plays into Imperm, it plays into Droll, it plays into Ash, it dies into Nibiru. And the thought is okay, we are going to need to figure out a way to essentially, this is when the deck building, you know, aspect of everything comes together. And that's when we'll start theorizing, you know, the best ways, the best lines, and optimizing the list. Right now, I think with the cards aren't even out yet, so let's have some fun and theorize some sort of list, right? So one thing that I do want to think about is IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena, Little Knight. Hey Matchy, nice to see you live. I wanted to have your opinion on Duality. Target Veiler to get Thousand Eyes Restrict. I love that idea. It's something that I did theorize before. In fact, Duality is one card I do want to play in this particular list. But with Millenniumize Restrict, so it's very, very good. However, Duality on Effect Veiler does burn your normal summon. I think, Alex, you'll be better off playing a card like Instant Fusion. It also depends on what list you're playing it in. Because, for example, I think Millenniumize off Duality is very, very fun. However, it doesn't come up because you require an Effect Veiler normal summon. That being said, what I do think is Instant Fusion is crazy in a list, in a board breaker format, or a, you know, hand trap heavy format, because Millenniumize essentially plays around everything. The interesting thing about Millenniumize more than anything is Millenniumize's ability to play with cards like Runic Dark Magician specifically, and you can, but do you want to waste the special? Do you want to waste the special summon off it? Right, like you can theoretically summon Veiler off tank, but when tank searches you a card like Cartisia, for example, is that optimal, right? And then if you have Duality already in hand, don't you want to make Dragoon over Millenniumize? No, there's no date yet. So back to what I was saying, like a deck, for example, like Runic Dark Magician, very interesting. I can quickly stop playing this and I'll just quickly go into here. The beautiful thing about a deck like Runic Dark Magician is you have a card like Runic Slumber, right? So what this will allow you to do, I just want to quickly showcase it. Sorry, I'm getting so off track. I'm just really excited. So a situation like this, right? This is why I think Instant Fusion is so good in a deck like Runic Dark Magician and, for example, Branded, because Branded has lines to do this as well. So you can go Instant Fusion and you pretty much summon Millenniumize Restrict, right? Now, what happens is you play your game, and essentially Millenniumize protects you from any hand trap. Millenniumize in this situation is the pseudo called by. But what it also allows you to do is Runic has a card called Runic Slumber, and Branded has a card called Branded Opening. Now, what both of these cards do is they protect Millenniumize Restrict in the end phase from Instant Fusion popping itself, right? Instant Fusion will try to pop Millenniumize, and essentially Slumber and Opening protect the Millenniumize, which allow you to have an additional interruption on your opponent's turn, which is why I think Instant Fusion is really, really good. That being said, I'm well aware that Duality into Effect Veiler making Millenniumize is a permanent Millenniumize. However, is that worth it, right? You have to understand that, like, is normal summoning an Effect Veiler into over something else, is it worth it? And is Effect Veiler better in hand than Millenniumize would be in theory on field, right? Because what Effect Veiler does, essentially you're burning 2 cards from your hand and a normal summon to get an interruption on your opponent's turn, or a protection on your turn, or you're burning 2 cards for 1 interruption, where you can keep the unknown in hand, because that's very valuable information that your opponent doesn't know. You keep your unknown in hand and you use the Effect Veiler as an interruption on your opponent's turn, right? So that's kind of something something you need to keep in mind. Oh, there's so many interesting interactions you could do with like Millenniumize, Restrict, and Souls. Even like Relinquish Anima. I loved Relinquish Anima for that reason. So I think like that's really exciting, right? Even like Relinquish Anima in this situation could be very interesting. Appaloosa. We want to play some Appaloosa. What are some other decent generic Link monsters we could play? Because like we're ending on a board with 4 or 5 monsters most of the time, right? Which is kind of nuts. You can add Quem in that toy box since Artemis Oversoul triggers. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. Go Kick Rocks. That's a very, very good concept. Very good idea, and it's actually something that we can play around with. I'll just toss her in here. The thing is I kind of want to streamline the deck. So the reason why I never liked Quem is very good for how are you summoning Cartisia without normaling it? Brandon, I'll go into a combo. I already did the combo, and let me get over some thoughts, and then I'll get back into the combo, and then I'll kind of showcase the idea, right? So the beautiful thing, Toy Tank, Christian, thanks for spoiling it, buddy. I'm just playing. Go Kick Rocks. Thank you for subscribing, my man. You master duel legend. Keep synchro summoning those monsters, my guy. Yeah, so essentially there's a lot of very interesting interactions we can do with a list like this, right? One thing I also do want to think about is potentially Winda, with the amount of, you know, do I want, the thing is like, Apgalone. Is Winda something you want to play? Winda can win you games on its own, but one engine that I want to talk about is the Diabellstar stuff. So the reason why I want to talk about Diabellstar is Diabellstar. The thing with this engine is, although Toy Box you can use it multiple times, after resolving Toy Box once, and I will eat my words if this is very incorrect, what Toy Box is relatively dead on field, right? And if we're drawing so many cards, there is a shot to draw into cards like Wanted. Cards into Wanted or Diabellstar, which can, you know, set your, this is the Omni Negate, right? This is the Omni Negate, correct? Target, no, which one's the Omni Negate, guys? It's the quick play, right? Sinful Spoils. This one's the Omni Negate, I believe, right? No, the trap is the Omni Negate. Yeah. So One interesting thing is in this situation is having a card like Diabellstar, because one thing that I did, the one thing that it's not a problem. It's nowhere near a problem. However, in a deck like Dark Magician, you need to have or maintain or get as much value out of every single card you have as possible. Having Toy Box on the field doing nothing, although it can be used next turn, is it an asset that we could use to progress our game state forward? And a card like Diabellstar, the Black Witch, does exactly that. Now, how often are you drawing Diabellstar, right? Is that something, you know, you really want to do? Now the problem with this conversation is now we're entering a conversation where it's how often are we opening up these 3 to 4 card combos, right? What do you think about the White Witch? That entire archetype, that Whitewood archetype, is crazy, Aldo. Crazy. And I'm so excited to share some thoughts. I've been working with some people, some amazing people. Horror Soup and I have been theorizing something else together. I'm blanking on his name. Amazing guy. But gentleman from the Discord, Sergeant Bob Ross. We've been working on some Whitewood stuff, and and I just want to get a little more comfortable with the list before you know, going over on stream. Sorry, there's a lot of things in my brain right now. Yeah, so shout out the other dude. Oh, I should have wrote all these names down. I keep forgetting all these names. I'll write them down for next stream, and I'll make sure I give everyone their proper credit. Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting interactions in a situation like this, right? So let's say theoretically we open up, we'll put Sinful Spoils here as essentially the card that we're gonna draw later on, right? So theoretically, let's try to get decent value out of this entire board, right? We'll normal summon our Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will activate its effect, grabbing our copy of Soul Servant. We'll activate Toy Box. Toy Box effect. Toy Box will set our 2 monsters, Soldier and Cannon. Now, the more I play this, the more I think that these 2 are going to be one-ofs. I think opening these 2 might not be fantastic, but that's something we can talk about later on. We'll activate Magician Souls. Magician Souls will pitch our Dark Magician. We will special summon Magician Souls. Magician Souls activates its effect. We'll pitch these 2. Oh, I forgot to change Soul Servant. Oh boy. See, this is what happens when you click too fast. Okay, we'll try this one more time. So we'll activate our Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will grab our copy of Soul Servant. We'll activate our Toy Box. Now, mind you, sequencing is very, very important. Obviously, I probably wouldn't start with Toy Box. I'd probably start with summoning Magician Souls before doing anything else. However, for the purpose of examples, we'll just continue doing it the way we're doing it. We will special summon Magician Souls. Magician Souls will send these 2. We will chain our copy of Soul Servant. Mind you, this does lose to a lot of hand traps, but that's just sometimes the nature of the deck. We will stack our Mahad. We'll grab our triggers. Now Toy Soldier will activate its effect. We'll grab us our Cartisia, right? Now what will happen is we will go Toy Tank effect, special summoning Cartisia, right? Because we played around the normal summon. We can go Cartisia effect, fusing the Magician Souls or we'll just get rid of the Toy Soldier, whatever, doesn't really matter here. Effect, we will send our DMG to the graveyard. Now what will happen is we can go activate Magician Souls, draw 3 cards. We can go into, you know, plethora of link plays, but for the time being, we'll just figure this out. We'll grab Diabellstar. Diabellstar effect, pitching the Toy Box. Special summoning Diabellstar. Diabellstar will activate its effect. Grabbing the Omni Negate will set the Omni Negate. Right? Here, we can do literally whatever we want. We can go Chaos Angel if that's what we want it to do. We can go SP in IP, or we'll probably just we can go SP. This is probably how we'll end the turn, and we'll have five cards in hand, right? We'll have the Omni Negate, we'll have an IP Banish, and we essentially generated some sort of advantage like that, right? That's a thought. That is a thought. Why not playing the branded engine anymore? We are still playing the branded engine. We're playing the branded engine currently in the TCG. I just got very excited with these toy box cards, and essentially that's kind of just, well, we're just theorizing. We're using this to theorize the deck. The one thing I do like about the branded engine is the branded engine does turbo out Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is really nice. But it's a situation where it's like, you know, everyone was playing Red Eyes Fusion at one point, and it required some sort of innovation. Not Red Eyes Fusion, the Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul, and it required some sort of innovation. And, you know, we eventually cut. I don't think Toy Soldier to 3 is I don't think Toy Soldier to 3 is too bad, even if you're forced to normal summon it, as long as you have many ways to Magician Souls anyways. Kevin, I think you're right. Toy Tank, I don't think is the same in that situation. I definitely agree that Toy Soldier 2-3 could be okay. It definitely could be okay. It's just a matter of, yeah, I think you're right, actually. I actually don't hate that. Kevin, you might be onto something here. Well, we'll try it at 2. I don't know. I'm just gonna put this away for now. We'll put this away for now. Like, this is just some theory right now, right? What was the other thing I wanted to try out? Oh, I should have made notes. This is why you make notes, guys. There's something else I did want to try out. I forget what it was. Chaos Angel. We can throw Chaos Angel in this. So there's a lot of interesting. Diabell can also send them. She's not really getting you deep into your engine. Yeah, I guess she can send them. Like, I do like the idea of Diabell in this list, only because I think Diabell gives us value off things that normally wouldn't give us value, if that makes sense, right? So I think that's very, very important. One other thing I want to figure out. Oh, there is a situation where we could also play like a card like Ebon Illusion Magician, and then go into an Xyz line where we have like Zeus plays. Could be interesting. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Thank you, guys. Okay, so can we copy this list? Stream Deck 2. Because another thing I wanted to think about is, let's sort these cards. We'll come back to this list. But there is one thing. Instead of Cartisia, we can go full into a brand new archetype. We'll cut all this out. So, I know I have the DM stuff in here. However, I know it would be Fusion locked, but how about playing Fusion Deployment? Yes, Celine, thank you. I'll put Celine, I'll remind her. The thing is, I don't think we need Fusion Deployment anymore, because essentially Toy Box acts as a Fusion Deployment by itself, right? The Toy Box is a Fusion Deployment, as is Toy Soldier. We're pretty much playing 5 copies of Fusion Deployment now, along with 3 copies of Cartisia, which I think is more than enough. Yes, we're Mr. Bagel Bites. We're playing with our Toy Box cards here. There's very interesting lines that I did showcase. I'll probably showcase them again through testing. We could probably play access code as well. We can play the BLS. There's a plethora of good links. The Dark Charmer. One thing. Oh, there's another thing. My brain is just filled with ideas today, guys. This is crazy. So there's another really interesting engine that I want to go into. But for the time being, the beautiful thing about this is the Shining Sarcophagus cards. The reason being is both Silent Magician and Silent Swordsman are level 4 lights, which means Toy Soldier can search these two out, right? It's something interesting. It's Toy Soldier being a warrior gives access to Dark Cavalry via secrets if Dragoon's too hard to summon. It can be. It's just a matter of like, what do we value in the extra deck now, right? That's definitely an option. And options are very good to have. So the Toy Soldier essentially allows us to have access to Silent Magician 0 and Silent Swordsman 0 if we are playing the Gold Star cards, right? Which can be very, very interesting. I don't know, like the Gadget Trio is like solid and stuff, but besides the point, it's a thought that came to my mind. The Shining Sarcophagus stuff I haven't really experimented with too much, so I'm not gonna come. Hey Godsmith Chaos, how's it going? I'm doing okay. Back is a little sore. I'm having back problems, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm an expert at the Shining Sarcophagus stuff, because I'm not. However, the toy box cards being allowed to search you Silent Magician 0 for a free spell negate can be very strong. Now, the very interesting about this interaction is, for example, which one is it? This one, the Future Silence, can draw you 6 cards. And remember, we're drawing 6 cards with this engine anyways, right? So we're drawing 6. We can play through our hands, and then if we draw into a Future Silence, we're drawing even more cards. We're drawing up to 6. And like, this can be a very, very interesting interaction with the two decks, right? Level 4 light spellcaster, level 4 lights are going to be very, very good, I think. And it's going to open up an insane amount of avenues to play the list, and it's definitely exciting, right? So I want to come back to this. Why did I do this? Oh my goodness. Shake my head. It ruined all my work, guys. Ruined all my work. So I want to go back to the Cartisia lines, because I think Cartisia is a line that I think is the strongest out of the bunch. The Silent Swordsman spell for Shining Sarcophagus is such a bonkers card. Yeah, it is. So we'll go Diabellstar. We'll add the Wanteds. We'll add the Omni. I don't think there's anything else I want. Maybe play 2 Diabell. I don't know if I want to play 2 Diabell. Maybe. We'll figure it out. I want to play Dualities, because Duality in this list, it goes crazy. I'm not going to be worrying about non-engine. First, I want to figure out the engine and then optimize the engine itself. And then we'll figure it out. Mahad, I think, is now mandatory, because these 3 cards, along with the toy box and Rotten Souls, now gets us a draw, pretty much draw 3 every turn. So playing the bricks isn't that awful if needed. I think this is okay. What's another link monster we could play? The Dark Charmer, if needed. Dark Charmer, the Dark Magicians. I don't know if I'm not going to play Winda yet. I'll put Winda here. Ebon is something that is very interesting. And if we play Ebon, we can play Zeus or Typhon or whatever. But Ebon is a very interesting card. That Protection Torrential can be good. The problem is I want to play one or the other. I don't want... So the problem with the other one... actually, the other one might be a little bit better because it's a little more generic for our list. So I want to play one or the other. The reason why I don't want to play both is because if you open them with no... They just sit in your hand kind of, right? And that's kind of the... I don't really want that. Obviously, we can send them off souls. It depends. We'll keep this one because this one's, I think, a little bit more generic because we can pretty much target Dark Magician. Cartisia is so strong now. Her quick effect window line is very valuable. Watching your vids made me want to play her again. Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is very good. Yeah, the window line is just nuts. It's so crazy. So in theory, let's say this is the list. Let's, you know, figure out what we can do here, just out of curiosity. Let's save, and we'll start. So, no toy box cards. Unlucky, right? In this situation, what we can do is we can go normal rod. We could probably start with wanted in draw phase and play like that. That's very much an option. We can go activate wanted, grab witch, because we love free cards. Magician Souls will send DM. Oh, we should send DMG actually. Can Ebon summon from grave? Ah, it's unlucky. We did misplay. The idea was I wanted to get a draw 3. We could have got a draw 3 here with Ebon on board, which would have been fun. But we'll just... Actually, we could replay that hand. What was it? It was Witch, Wanted, Rod, and Souls. Right? That was the hand. All right. Let's replay that. The Illusion Link 2 would be great for this hand. Yeah, it would have been. So we'll go back to what we were doing. We'll normal rod of... Oh my goodness gracious. Man, click too many buttons too fast. Okay. This is very unprofessional. I apologize. So what we'll do, normal rod effect will grab us our Soul Servant. So we'll add Soul Servant to hand. Here, what we can do is we can go wanted in draw phase. Obviously, that's correct. We can go Magician Souls, send DMG, summon Magician Souls. We'll go Magician Souls effect. We can pitch the wanted. We can chain the Soul Servant. We can stack Mahad here. We'll special Mahad. We'll tribute Souls, activate Witch. Witch can grab us this guy. Now we can make Chaos Angel here. It's an option, but because of how generic this engine is, we already have Witch. We have Witch in hand, right? We need Mahad Engrave. Summon DM. Now we can draw 3 off Soul Servant, and off we go. So that's... The deck wasn't shuffled. So that's why we drew into the toy box cards. But it's something. We have an Omni. We can go into lines like Chaos Angel, IP, SP, things like that. It's something. It's something which is, you know, it's fun. It's fine. It's fine. So we will enable deck shuffling. Let's figure out something else. So in this situation, what we have here is we can normal our toy box effect, or toy soldier grabbing our toy box, which is strong. Obviously, wanted should be activated in draw phase always. Summon Sorcerer might cook here. I haven't actually read Summon Sorcerer post errata, so I might take a look at that. But we're doing some shenanigans here, which is really like interesting. We can set our other toy soldier from deck, which is really strong. Now what we can do is we can go Souls. We can pitch our DM. So we don't have Soul Servant, which is okay. We can pitch DMG actually. Yeah, we'll pitch DMG. Souls effect, pitch these two, draw two. Now what we can do is we can go... Oh, I didn't trigger tank. See, we trigger tank there, and then we special summon Cartisia, and then off we go like that. But you know, I love misclicking buttons. It's something though. It's something. Let's see what else we can cook here. So this is going to be very interesting. We can go Illusion of Chaos, a grabbing Magician's Rod. This is going to be like the full value of the draw 3, right? Which is going to be really good. I'm back. Did you try Duality already? Not yet, because we're just doing some test hands and we haven't drawn it yet. But we'll get there. I'm sure we'll draw into it eventually. We'll grab Soul Servant. We will special summon our Magician Souls. Magician Souls can pitch our... Does it matter here? I always did Dark Magician. If we send DMG, I don't think it matters. Yeah, we'll just send DMG. Special summon. We will activate our toy box. Toy box effect. Set your 2 toy monsters. Magician Souls. Pitch, pitch. Oh my goodness. Why am I misclicking? It's really annoying. Really, really annoying. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Oh, it doesn't even matter because we can't. Yeah, we can't. It's whatever. We'll do what we did. No, we can't. Oh my goodness. We needed to pitch it. It's okay. We could do it like this. It's really annoying. And we didn't trigger Mahad, guys. Guys, it's not... We're just misclicking here. That was a really, really fun hand to play with, and we misclicked through the entire thing. Godsmith of the Chaos, I've been testing Diabellstar Adventure 40 card deck, 777 with 9 to 12 hand traps. Yeah, guys, go check out Godsmith of Chaos's video. He's been cooking. He's been cooking. Cross Sheep would help you climb into Apollosa. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That last hand would have been so fun if we don't misclick. It's such a shame. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of why we play Duality. And we're going to plus infinite here, which is really interesting. So we're going to set our 2 monsters. Okay, from now on, we're gonna, oh my goodness, my back. We're going to slow down here. Okay, we're going to slow down. We're going to play everything, you know, methodically, not misclick, because it is very unprofessional of me to constantly misclick the way I'm misclicking. And I very much apologize for that. 1, 2, special, effect, grabbing our Blazing Cartisia. Here we can go Wanted, grabbing Witch. Now, the interesting things we can do here is essentially we can get a draw 2. We can get a free draw 2, actually. We have Dragoon. Manja, how's it going, man? Yeah, this Toys Box stuff is really neat. Teach me Brandon lines, Dad. Dude, bold of you to assume I play Brandon better than you. I'm washed. I'm washed at this game. What am I doing here? We don't have a normal summon. We can go Black Witch, pitch Soul Servant, because we love that. We'll grab Original Sinful Spoils of Doom. Now we can go effect, summon Cartisia. We can go Cartisia effect, making Grang-Ignol. Grang-Ignol effect, chain Duality, pitching Grang, summoning Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Grang can send our copy of DMG if needed. Do we want to send DMG? We can send DMG. Now we have a draw 2. We have a draw 1. We can put back our Grang as an interruption. Cartisia adds itself back to hand. If we keep Toy Box on board, we can put thing. We can put Toy Tank back in the deck, which is something that's very, very interesting. Let's just put back. Yeah, we'll put back Toy Tank and DMG. Doesn't matter. Here we can chain your Soul Servant. Stacking our. Oh wait, no, that's a misplay. Oh, that's a bad misplay. See, I thought for some reason I thought Duality worked like holy F, those mother effing toy box cards are so effing good. Yeah, man, dude, these cards are crazy. They're Dodo. There's a line that Rod Soul's toy box gets you 6 cards in hand, 20 bodies on board. It's actually kind of crazy. So, it's really, really fun. Tamias, whatever, doesn't matter. Like, point is now you can go link climb and do whatever you want to do, right? So for those who are new to the stream, I don't know who was here when I showed this and who wasn't when I didn't, but in theory, this is the initial line that came to my brain when working with these toy box cards, right? So I'm just gonna quickly showcase that. So these three cards essentially enable everything. Magician Souls, Magician's Rod, and Toy Box. These three essentially is your amazing 3-card combo. Now the theory is you don't really open this because Rod, Souls are the only card you really need to hard open is Souls and Toy Box. Rod can be Illusion of Chaos, Soul Servant, anything along those lines, right? So the theory is we'll go normal summon Magician's Rod effect. For those, I've already done this combo, but this is for the new people who just joined us. We'll grab our Soul Servant. We will go Toy Box effect. Toy Box will set our 2 toy monsters. We'll go Soldier and Tank, right? We can go Magician Souls effect. Sending doesn't matter here. We could send DM. Special summon. Now Magician Souls will target our 2 toy monsters. We will chain our Soul Servant. Soul Servant will stack our Mahad. Now we have our 3 triggers, 1, 2, and 3. Mahad will special summon himself. And here our toy box cards come out. Toy Soldier will grab us our favorite level 4 light monster, Blazing Cartisia. Toy Tank will activate its effect, special summoning Blazing Cartisia the Virtuous. Cartisia can fuse with Magician Souls or Toy Soldier. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to fuse with Toy Soldier to make Grang and Yol. Grang and Yol will now pitch our last copy of Dark Magician Girl. Here we can activate Soul Servant, and Soul Servant draws us 3 cards. So now we have 5 cards on board. Rod, Mahad, DMG, DM, all in rotation with 5 cards in hand, Grang on board, which is something really, really interesting. In addition, if we draw into a card like Duality, for example, obviously this is very niche, but we can pitch our Grang, summon your copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Duality can shuffle back, your DM or DMG or whatever for an extra draw if you want. Illusion of Chaos. Here we have like Diabellstar. We drew into a Diabellstar, which can be something in addition to all this. We can pitch our souls, summon Diabellstar. That was a misplay because we would have wanted to send Toy Box. It doesn't really matter. It's perfectly fine. We will set this. Here we can make Ebon summoning. If you want to make Ebon, if you don't, we can make like a Chaos Angel. We can go into an IP, making an SP. We can go into Dark. There's a Celine line here, which is really, really interesting to revive back, whatever else you want. I think like what this enables us to do is essentially, this is the first time in forever where playing all 3 bricks doesn't feel like shit, which is Very, very, very exciting. I wouldn't play 4. But this is the first time in forever where, you know, all 3 bricks can be very viable, which is something in a positive direction, and having the ability to draw 3 every turn is really crazy, right? So that's something very, very interesting. The bodies on boards are awesome, but most importantly, just not being locked into dark monsters is crazy, right? So I like the Diabellstar stuff in theory. Let's resort the deck. We can play the 2 rods, 3 souls. Illusion of Chaos. I think we play the preps finally instead of the 3. I'm not, do I want to do that though? It's something. I think 3 Cartesias now can be played. I think 3 Cartesias are very good. We can play 2. We could even play it at 1 because of how accessible it is. But Cartisia on its own is just ridiculous. I gotta go. Good night, Matchy. Good night, Godsmith. Good night. Hope you have a great night. So it's definitely, it's something that you know can be decently viable here. Dualities are a must. If we are playing Blazing Cartisia, dualities are a must because it essentially turbos out Dragoon. In addition, I think what this enables us to do is, I'm usually a prep hater, but with this gameplay, I don't think it's bad. I trust me, Kevin, I don't like prep. There was a huge movement for a lot of DM players to play 2 Illusion of Chaos and 3 Preparation Rites, or some sort of combination of that. I ended up opting to just cut the preps and play the 3 Illusion of Chaos. One, I think Illusion of Chaos just felt better in your hand. And essentially, what simulator? And essentially, in like Droll is, as much as people don't want to admit it, Droll is a card. And what Droll, like, okay, the entire deck plays into Droll, and that's absolutely correct. But I would rather get Drolled on Illusion of Chaos grabbing me a body, which is either Magician's Souls or Magician's Rod, than getting Drolled on a Preparation of Rites and just dying, right? Would you use any of the Gold Star cards with DM? Not sure if I discussed before. We went over it very, very briefly. Mudeo? Did I say that right? Mudeo? We went over it very briefly, and the reason why the Shining Sarcophagus cards are so good in this particular variant is because your copies of Silent Swordsman and where is the other one? Where's the Magician? These 2 cards, the Silent Swordsman and the Silent Magician, can be searched off Toy Soldier, which is really strong, which is really, really strong. And I think with those cards being very, very accessible, are these Toy Box cards going to be expensive? Nino, if these Toy Box cards are cooking like this in DM, I can't imagine what they're going to do in a very viable deck. In addition, if the rarity is a secret rare, these cards are going to be ridiculous. For the one thing, I will say this. The one thing I will say that could, I'm not saying it will, but my God, the art on these cards is horrid. I can't stand the art on these cards. It drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. Look at the entire vibe of the deck. The entire vibe of the deck looks mean. And I know I'm weird. I'm well aware I'm weird, and it shouldn't matter, but it bothers me, and it is what it is. Yeah, I think these cards are going to be pretty expensive. I do. Would you take, I wanted your take on your TCG list and having a Lore of Darkness in there, along with one Eradicator Epidemic Virus on the side. I don't think Epidemic Virus is that great, because I think you could play a card like Secret Village, and it does exactly what Epidemic does, if not a little bit better, because Epidemic, it's slower, and in addition, I think a lot of people, you can chain things to Epidemic, right? With Secret Village, even going second, you slam Village on the board, and it applies a lot of pressure, which is something that Epidemic can't do. Allure is decent. I don't hate Allure, especially in Branded. Having the ability to shuffle back your banished targets is very strong. I think that's, you know, I think Allure is decent as a draw engine, especially if you're playing Bestials. We're going to Little Yugi with Gold Sark. Yeah. I mean, like I said, good cards are good cards. It bothers me, but I'm not gonna dwell on it. I'm just happy that the deck is going in a positive direction, which is something. Anyways, enough about niche things that don't matter to actual gameplay. Yeah. So the toy soldiers and this toy stuff, I think will work very well with sarcophagus stuff, because it essentially nullifies the fact that if you open Sark and, for example, a toy soldier, you no longer have to waste the sarcophagus search on like a Silent Magician, because Silent Magician has other means of being accessed, which is really strong. I think that's the synergy here. I think anything with level 4 lights is gonna go crazy. I know Go Kick Rocks. What are you? I don't know if he's still in here, but he's a very good synchro player. And Stardust. There's a level 4 light Stardust. Is it this thing? Stardust Synchron? He's been cooking with this. Immediately when the Toy Sarks like came into the spotlight, he immediately went into this. And like, I think, you know, if level 4 lights are gonna do crazy things. Allure plus Regain, didn't think of that. Dude, Allure plus Regain was one of my favorite lines of play. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it can be, but the idea is that it's a body, right? It's a body, and if you play multiples, you can do shenanigans with it, right? The thing that I was always worried about with the Shining Sarcophagus stuff is I don't think it's very good in actual Dark Magician. I'm gonna be alone with that take. Or White Forest plus Toys is a crazy. White Forest or White Woods, whatever they're called, these guys are going to be stupid with the toy box engine. These cards are gonna like do insane things. I'm genuinely worried about what this is gonna do. I think these cards are gonna be crazy. I think these cards are gonna be crazy. Now, we said that a lot of archetypes were gonna be crazy and they flopped. Could very well be the case, but you know, it's what it is. Now, so theoretically, if this is the main deck we have, what this allows us to do is essentially gives us slots for some non-engine. And if I'm playing this list, like if I'm bringing this list to locals tomorrow, I think cards like Forbidden Droplet would go really, really well with a list like this. Having the ability to dodge interruptions going second, a lot of targeted interruptions going second. For example, you know, Souls pitch, like Souls immediately is better into cards like Imperm, Effect Veiler going second with a card like Forbidden Droplet, because what this essentially does is Magician Souls and Forbidden Droplet means you just plus and off you go, right? Yeah, so you can send the set cards off Toy Box with Droplet, and yeah, well, I mean, it's not really a neg 2 because you're literally just worst case. The reason why I want to worst case, what happens is you Droplet, you pitch 3 cards, right? You deal with 3 monsters on board, and you still have 4 cards to play with, which is worst case, right? That's the worst case. You deal with 3 bodies on board and have 4 cards in hand, which I think is a trade-off I'm willing to take, right? Yeah, exactly, Christian. I think the White Woods cards are gonna be crazy, especially with Toy Box. I know there's a guy in the Discord. We've been working on it. We've been working on a list with White Woods together. He's been actually working on it, and I've been watching in awe. And eventually, I will dive in to learn them and share them with the rest of you. But the stuff that list is doing, is genuine. We were calamity locking today, because we can. It's kind of nuts what Whitewood's DM toy box can do. It's really interesting. Anyways, so Vermin Droplet is a card that is very interesting in a list like this. In addition, cards like, for example, I don't even know what I want to play here. Probably go with like a board breaker format, or cards like Upstart Goblin can be interesting. The Shadal Schism could be a very interesting option if we want to play Winda. However, if we do want to go into that line of play, is, you know, just playing Barrier Statue better, right? That's something that we can think about. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Talking for a while. That's something that we can think about, right? Black Goat. Would DM benefit with having one copy of Gold Sark, Gandora, Ebon, Silent Magician? I don't think so, man. I really don't think so. It's sad. I just think that the archetypes don't really do anything. Like, DM in that situation is a glorified draw engine, or it's a way to turbo Dragoon with before 5 summons, and assuming that the last 3 cards in your hand are the Gold Sark, hoping the last 3 cards in your hand are the Gold Sark stuff, which can progress a game state far enough ahead where, you know, you can stop your opponent from playing, essentially, right? That's kind of what the DM engine. The DM engine stuff is literally, hey, you make Dragoon, you hope to either bait your opponent's interruptions before the Dragoon, or you have Dragoon to protect your monsters from anything. Bestials are interesting. Bestials are very interesting. Bestials are free bodies on board. Very interesting concept. I actually don't hate the idea of Bestials. One thing, these are very interesting. How's Cheetah? How are we cheating Winda without Nadir? I'll show you. I can show you now, actually. So we'll put Winda here. I don't know. We'll put these away. So I typically like playing two Windas, but you don't need to. So we'll just go full combo again. Okay. Yeah. What's the illusion link called, Christian? If you don't mind me asking, I forget what it's called. It's like rabbit. No, is it hat? Something with a hat. I don't know. It's some rabbit with a hat. What's it called? If you don't mind me asking. Yes, Christian. Thank you. Oh my goodness. The entire stream, if I was mumbling or something, it was because I was thinking, there's one more engine I want to discuss. And I just couldn't think of it for the life of me. The engine I want to talk about in a list like this is the Sky Striker engine. So what the Sky Striker engine does is Sky Striker will essentially help us break boards. In addition, the only problem with this engine, I will say this, the only problem with this engine is that they take up a lot of extra deck space, which is something I'm not sure if we could afford just yet. However, the Sky Striker engine being able to pretty much print free bodies, thank you, Christian, you're a gem. Print free bodies, and essentially, what's it called? Yeah, the Sky Striker engine essentially prints free bodies, and it's sets up interruptions along with helping you break boards, and they generate advantage with cards like Engage. Oh, this stuff's not even in the game yet. It probably just came out. Oh, here it is, right? This is it. Oh, they don't even have it in the game. That's unlucky. When it comes, we'll work with it. But it is a very, very fun card. Very, very fun card. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I genuinely think the Sky Striker engine with the new link just it prints advantage, and also the new link, at worst case, the only part is that the link can't be used as link material, which doesn't really matter. But at worst case, it sets up spells and traps, which we can send off souls at its worst case, which I think is just really awesome. But the Sky Striker engine, pretty much it draws cards. It's a free body, and it prints link material, which is awesome. It's an engine that I was very interested in actually playing in this. Anyways, so somebody asked me, how do we turbo out Winda? Let me get to that right now. So essentially, what we're doing is we are just trying to get access to Blazing Cartisia, and Cartisia will grab us access to El Shaddai Winda. We will start by normal summoning Magician's Rod. This is obviously a glorified combo. All you really need is Cartisia and a Dark, but you know, this is way more fun, and getting combos engraved into my brain helps me so much as a player. So we'll activate Toy Box. Remember, sequencing is very important. I'd probably start with Magician's Souls. It's a habit I need to break. We will activate Magician's Souls. Magician's Souls will pitch our copy of Dark Magician. We will special summon Magician's Souls. Here we can go Magician's Souls effect, pitching these two to summon out your, to draw two. We will chain Soul Servant. Soul Servant will stack us our Mahad just to get a free draw, because we love that. We will activate our chain links. Chain link 1 soldier, chain link 2 tank, chain link 3 Mahad, special summoning it. The beautiful thing here is it can't be belled, which is really awesome. Toy soldier will grab us our Blazing Cartisia. Now, here we can draw 2 off Soul Servant. Excellent, doesn't matter. We can go Toy Soldier, activate Toy Tank, tributing it to summon Cartisia. Cartisia effect, we will make our copy of Grang and Yol the Dust Dragon. Grang and Yol will activate its effect. We will send our copy of El Shaddai Apgalon. Apgalon will activate its effect, grabbing El Shaddai Schism. Schism can send whatever from our hand. We can set 1 card. Here we're not locked into anything, so we can go into our link plays or whatever the case is. We can go into Chaos Angel. It really doesn't matter, right? Let's just, for the memes, whatever. Format Appaloosa, because we can, right? Whatever. Here we'll end phase. Cartisia will add itself back to hand, right? And on our opponent's turn, he will proceed. He will do whatever he needs to do. We can chain our Shaddai Schism, summoning Winda by banishing our Magician's Souls and our Apgalon. Now our opponent is locked into 1 special summon. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much Cartisia. Seeing Cartisia in hand is a El Shaddai window on our opponent's turn. But in this situation, what the standard Rod and Souls line does with a toy box essentially generates us a lot of card advantage, along with having a format Appaloosa, 5 cards in hand, and you know, whatever window lock, which is crazy. In addition, underrated addition, something to keep in mind, underrated addition to keep in mind, is with this line we have Mahad, Dark Magician Girl, and Dark Magician in rotation, which means every Soul Servant from now on is a draw 3. That is something that, you know, is very, very interesting. It's something that, you know, otherwise wouldn't be possible with any other list. So with any other DM list, like, I think just having the ability to play 3 bricks now is very, very interesting, and it's something that I'm very excited for. So this is kind of the thought. This seems like the kind of thought I have with the list as of right now. I'm not sure about the Bestials. I'll full disclaimer, I'm not sure about the Bestials. I don't know about Shaddai Schism yet. I really don't know. I think we might cut Dragoon down to 1. I don't really think so, because I think Duality is really, really strong. There's an archetype way to make Dragoon with Dark Magician and Timaeus if needed. In addition, Cartisia and Duality make us Dragoon, the second Dragoon, which is really, really good. I want to experiment with the Sky Striker package. How do you feel about little space for non-engine? Is the engine strong enough to push through most things? Depends. We have a worse. If this is the list that we're like, this is far from the final list. I don't think this is gonna be the final list. Far from it. But what I will say, if you had to choose Dragoon or Window, depends on what the game state is. $800 deck, if the toy box cards are expensive. If not, maybe not. Dragoon or Window depends on what the game state is. Depends what our hands are. Depends on what kind of interruptions we have, what other lines we have to make, what's in our hand for the follow-up, things like that. In addition, one thing I do want to think about with Duality is other extra deck targets. For example, one thing that Mr. Bob Ross and I cooked up, the amazing artist he is this White Woods card. Which one is it? The Spellcaster. This one here works. Duality in White Woods is very, very good because DMG can go into this, right? And then this Duality has multiple avenues. And the one thing that makes Duality very, very strong is when Duality can have multiple targets in the extra deck to essentially dodge interruptions and turbo out plays like that. So that's why the Whitewood engine is going to be crazy, because Duality immediately has access to Grand Guignol or Grand Guignol into Dragoon, DMG into Resilia or whatever it's called, and other lines, right? So that's something that's very, very interesting. So that's it for the toy box cards. I know I'm running really late. I know the stream is dragging on, but there is one more card I do want to talk about. This is for a different kind of side of DM, less hype. Actually, do we want to go into it or do we just end the stream here? But yeah, so back to the question on is there enough space for non-engine? Well, there's 6 slots for non-engine here, with a pretty quote-unquote fatty deck that can be thinned pretty drastically. So we can have, I think this list can have 9 to 10 non-engine slots, which I think is fine. Potentially even more, maybe, question mark. However, I think with a board breaker approach, I think it's okay. Shining Sark. So the Shining Sark cards, no, because I want to get very comfortable with them before sharing an opinion. I feel like, you know, I have a privilege of having a decent amount of people watching me. I want to make sure that I provide valid content, like content that I've worked hard on and things like that. I can't speak on Shining Sark yet because I don't think that I've done enough with it. One thing I do want to think about, this is a little silly, but it's a card called Metamorphosis. Now, the reason why this is very interesting, in a deck like Runic, for example, I'll just put this away just for now, is because of this is just for example purposes, Diviner of the Herald. So these 2 cards in like a Runic DM deck provide so many interesting avenues. This is something I was like thinking about, Tzolk'in, Crystal Wing. So there's actually a few things I want to talk about here. Crystal Wing, I will cut some DM stuff because I also want to look into... Good evening, Mate. How's it going, handsome? Good evening, handsome. Ooh, thinking the same. Is with a card like the Adventure Package. So there's a reason for this. I don't think this matters. Just for now, I know it's a freaking sin to cut Runic cards. Runic names from Runic deck. I know it's a sin. Don't worry. Set rotation, and then say a card like, I don't know, Planet with Visas. So there's a few things I want to talk about. This is next level stuff. This is Fairy Dragon. And then what's the other one? Doesn't matter. Whatever. So there's a few things I want to talk about here. Number one is this card with your runic spells. So we'll just, I don't know, we'll load this up. Whatever. No. Right. So this is something that's actually very interesting. What we can do, essentially, if this card was a quick play, I'd be playing this every single time. But this is something that I've been thinking about. So we activate a runic card, summon any runic name, whatever, right? We'll activate Hugin effect. We'll pitch another runic card. Doesn't matter. We'll grab Fountain. Now, the really interesting part with Metamorphosis is what we can do is we can go pitch our Hugin to Special Diviner. Diviner will send our copy of Herald. Herald will activate its effect, essentially grabbing our Illusion of Chaos, which means all of our stuff is live, right? Now, Illusion of Chaos can activate its effect. We can grab Souls. We'll send back the Illusion of Chaos. Souls can send the DMG. We can send the Souls to the grave. Special summon DMG. Now, Herald is a level 6, so we can make a copy of Tzolk'in. We can set a runic spell. Our Fountain, Tzolk'in, can activate its effect. Grabbing our Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing activates its effect. Here we can go Fountain, and then we can go Special. We can grab, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Gary, Fountain will get us our draw 3. And then off we go. We have plays here we can make with link summoning. If we draw into anything else, it's interesting. It's something. I came across this card with a buddy of mine. Name is Ohm. Metamorphosis. Very interesting things, especially in Runic DM, because it essentially allows us to grab Diviner, and Diviner by itself is a Tzolk'in along with Illusion of Chaos, which gives us access to the entire Dark Magician engine. So that's one thing. That's one very interesting niche that we kind of thought about. Another interesting interaction is I love the interaction that Magician Souls has with, for example, Water Enchantress. Like I think these cards are really, really nice. I don't know. This is a specific test hand, but essentially Water Enchantress is very interesting in a deck like this, for example, because what we can do, like obviously this is not a 5-card combo, because pretty much just water. All we're really seeing here is Water Enchantress and set rotation. That's kind of the only two things I want to see. But this is kind of just overkill, which is it pluses, which is kind of cute. So we can fuse into the Dark Magicians. Our Water Enchantress will activate its effect. We can grab right. Now we can go right. Summoning our token. Placing Fateful. The Dark Magician draws 1 card. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, the cool thing here is we can go set rotation. Putting Planet on our side and Fountain on theirs. We can activate Planet. Oh, what? Oh my goodness. I misclick again. Planet's supposed to get us Visa Starfrost. Visa Starfrost. So we'll just do that again quickly. So here we just go with our standard, Water Enchantress lines or whatever. Doesn't matter. So the cool thing here is with set rotation and water enchantress, or set rotation and the adventure package, is now we can go Draco back, pop our opponent's Runic Fountain, grabbing it back to our hand. We activate Runic Fountain. We could activate this, summon out Gary. Fountain gets our draw 2. This is just a quick example. Visa Starfrost can pitch our Dark Magician, summoning it. Dark Magician activates its effect, summoning out Dark Magician Girl. And here we have 5 bodies on board. Right? So that's something. That's like one other thing I wanted to talk about, right? This is like pre-ban list, right? When we could make like Baron the Floor or whatever with like Visa Starfrost and like Gary, or in this case, we can make cards like Tzolk'in. Doesn't matter, right? Whatever. So like the idea is set rotation and the water package gets you Visa Starfrost and, you know, access to your entire Synchro toolbox, along with an Omni Negate and Runic Fountain back in hand, which can kind of generate some sort of advantage, which is really, really interesting. So yeah, that's it. I'll just do this one more time. Crystal Wing is there. One more time for the people who just joined us. The amazing, interesting interactions we can have with the toolbox, the toy box cards, right? This is kind of the thought. Well, we can use this on the stream right after this, but essentially we'll go normal summon Magician's Rod. How'd you go above 40? Oh, no. Like I said, Joe, that's not a finalized list. That was just some theory. Like, this stream is all about theory, showing you guys different lines that I'm thinking about, and then having you guys take some of those ideas and do your own stuff with it, right? That's kind of all I'm trying to do. So we'll go toy box here. We'll set our monsters. We can go Magician Souls, pitch, Chain Soul Servant, stacking our Mahad. Now we go Chainlink 1 Tank, Chainlink 2 Soldier, Chainlink 3 Mahad, because we love triggers. The biggest problem, I added the wrong card. That's supposed to be Cartisia. My goodness. Apologies, everyone. I'll restart it. So the thought is, what's the thought? I forgot what my thought was. Oh my goodness. What was I thinking about? It's been a long stream. Tired. Magician Soul sends the 2 spell cards, the 2 set monsters. We can chain Soul Servant, stacking Mahad. Right, Alex? Dude, I don't know. I missed the triggers again. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry, guys. This is so unprofessional. I gotta breathe. It's late. I'm tired. I just want to show the combo one more time. And then I'll let everyone go. Just want to thank everyone for watching, though, and you guys have been truly, truly amazing. I think that the toy box engine can do. Nick, how's it going, man? The toy box engine can be very, very strong. I think the toy box engine allows DM to do so many interesting things that otherwise wouldn't be possible. And fortunately, like, as much as I love branded, fortunately I don't feel like I'm forced to play that branded anymore. And I think, you know, it is a positive in my opinion. It really is a positive. It opens up so many new avenues to play the list, so many new possibilities. Oh, that's what I want to say. One thing that we do need to figure out with this list, and this is absolutely mandatory, is we need to figure out a way to play again around Nib. Nibiru is going to cook this deck alive. There are some hand traps that will cook this deck alive as well, but there are going to be ways to play around everything, which I think can be decent. But you know, we're moving in a very positive direction. So here we can make the Dark Magicians actually as well, which is really interesting. We can make the Dark Magicians to get essentially another draw. But essentially what we have here is we have 5 cards in hand with 4 bodies on board. It could be, typically it's 6 cards in hand, because if we didn't activate Duality, then the Grang will still be on the field, right? But the beautiful thing about this situation more than anything is that we have the beautiful thing about this situation is that we have DMG, DM, and Mahad all in rotation. We aren't locked into any fusion summoning, which is really nice. We can make Chaos Angel here. We can make IP into SP. We can make Apo. We can make Celine. We can go into Dark Lines. It is a very, very, very positive direction to take the list. I will show the list one more time. This is not the list. I want to stress that again. This is far from the final list. This is just some interesting ideas that we've been working with. And I think that the deck is in a positive direction. Some things that I'm thinking about for future reference is the Sky Striker package, because I think these cards print advantage. Same with Forbidden Droplet, because it plays around, you know, it plays very well with the toy box cards along with the Bestials. So that is going to be pretty much it. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you so much for joining me on this theory crafting session. I think it's very interesting. The VOD will be up. Hopefully people can watch it. I want to thank you guys so much for the endless support you've shown me. Without you, I don't do what I do. Love you guys. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing day. Hopefully I'll cook together some sort of video about the toy box package and pretty much summarizing the entire stream into one video so that it's cohesive. It's simple enough to understand, and we can go from there, right? All right. So thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.